was no YouTube when we started. There's no social media. So I had no idea what it was like to aspire for.
Because you weren't even thinking about being a Hollywood director at this point.
Because I did not think it was possible. I literally convinced my parents, hey, can I do visual arts? At the very least, art is like a business. Entertainment is a business. So I think I can find myself behind a desk. That was my way to convince them that it would be okay. I'll be behind a desk. It wasn't, don't worry, mom, you're going to see, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to be a director. It was not that. I was like, don't worry, mom, I'm going to find a job behind a desk.
You didn't always want this from the beginning.
Absolutely not. So because of that, I don't think I chased fame and I chased, leveling up in the mainstream the same way. And actually, and I do this now, and like when I go to pitch meetings and or meet with people at studios, I kind of describe when we first started, like the mainland of Hollywood, we got a really bad taste of what the culture was like. Because we already had some views on our YouTube channel. We were generation zero of like, hey, we have an online fan base, and people literally were like, okay, first of all, you can't have Asians if you guys want to make a movie. Like, you can't. This is bad business, so change it. Like, we literally had those doors closed in our faces, right? And so I was just like, oh my god, the mainland is not ready for what we're trying to do. Now, what would other creators do in that situation? They would probably rewrite. If that was their main, if they're like, I need to make it in this industry.
Because you tell a story about how you were asked to change the characters of a movie in a pitch meeting. Non-Asian, right?
Yeah.
And you said no. You said you wanted to keep them Asian.
Right.
If you said yes, do you think that movie gets made? Or
it's possible.
It's a higher chance.
It's higher chance. This was like in 2008, right? So it's a much higher chance.
So you obviously, this is something we talked about on lunch break when we were on there a little bit, where I was like, I know we were kind of like talking about how we got passed up on for when the mainstream started reaching down into the community. Right. We kind of wish they picked us up.
Right.
But then I was like, you know what? If our whole goal, our entire careers were to become mainstream, we would have done things a little differently.
Totally. So that's the thing.
And we cannot be ultra mad. We can be a little bit.
I've so come to terms with that, because I that's exactly what it is. We chose the community. We chose the community side. And honestly, there's a part of me where I was like, because we already saw evidence of success through the YouTube channel, to me, that was actually easier. It was actually easier to be like, at the time, I'm like, okay, Hollywood doesn't get us. Well, we have this business already kind of forming. Let's go double down now on the YouTube, on our Asian American, fan base. And so we were kind of like these refugees on this little island. And now, 10 years later, the island is thriving. Actually, there's a whole other continent of digital media, but the mainland, the environment's totally changed. And you know who is going to be scooped up first? The people that stayed on the mainland, right?
Yeah, the people who have been grinding up the ladder.
Right.
And they get picked up first.
And if those are those Asians that did that, I mean, that was their path, and more power to them. But now because I've seen the culture change, I'm like, hey, if you guys if you're looking, I'm going to come back to the mainland, and I'm going to show you what we can offer.
You are.
Yes.
That's your goal.
So you're
going back to you're going to take a stab at mainstream Hollywood.
I guess that's kind of already happening in a sense. Right. Definitely. But here's the thing.
Like a real stab at it.
Yes.
Is this the first real stab, or like the other ones were semi-stabs?
I would say this,
like part way with like a
2-inch. Single by 30 was probably like the first effort that we had into it, because we were working with a major platform, a major budget. Yeah. But I think it was still too early. It's crazy how like literally a couple years can make all the difference. But what I'm envisioning is, I think it's good to have the big swings for the Hollywood mainstream stuff. But Hollywood moves so slow. I just don't have the patience for it. So while that stuff is going, I'm going to continue doing the digital media, YouTube, whatever grind. And I think that's going to be what keeps me fulfilled, And the other thing too is you make it like such a big deal. Like, all right, Phil, you're entering the mainstream. It's honestly, here's the funny thing. All the success that YouTube has brought me, whatever, the opportunities that YouTube has brought me has literally just been able to get me into a room.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, that's way further than someone just starting out or someone with no background or portfolio. So yes, I am in a room at Netflix. I'm in a room at Amazon, whatever. I'm talking to head of this, head of that, executive, whatever. But guess what? Right before me, Angelina Jolie was probably there. Yeah. Brad Pitt, Gabrielle Union, whatever. So I'm just in the room now. I'm just with the other fish, and that's a little less climatic. Now I'm just part of this other grind. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's cool to be able to do both, and that's kind of like what we hope to do as well.
I think that's just what all entertainers are doing. Even the mainstream people are like, hey, this is taking too long, or there's too much red tape. I want to go be on Instagram.